here we are at Mount Disappointment.
We're on Allison's Road heading for Turner's Track.
Bit wet underfoot, lots of water, lots of mud, a lot of fun.
All right, this looks a little tricky. I think we're about to get to the hard stuff.
Now turn up onto the rock. Keep turning straight.
This is certainly the challenge for the day.
I reckon we're definitely going to need winches.
G'day viewers, this week we're exploring the tracks once again in the Mount Disappointment State Forest. I've got a few mates along. Let's go and meet who they are and get ready for another cracking day with life off-road. First up is Mike in the Ranger. It's the best set-up vehicle in our convoy and Mike's our go-to guy for food and gadgets. Jerry in the T60 somehow manages to keep up with us. Now being the recovery guy, we're definitely going to need him today. Tim and Nikki in the Big Patrol are our winners from the 4-wheel drive TV challenge, but I reckon those bald tyres might let them down today. Now Kyle in the Prado is our last member of the crew today. He's a newbie. He's also not running a winch, so I reckon he's the first guy we're going to try and get stuck. Today I'm driving my trusty Colorado 7. Now it's already filthy, but let's go out and hit the tracks and get it even dirtier.
Alrighty, here we go. Head down, heading out to the first track around Mount Disappointment.
Went through a couple of decent bog holes, which I was able to get through in 2-wheel drive, but it started to get pretty serious pretty quick, so we obviously had to go into 4 low.
Some of the bog holes were right in the middle of the track and nice and deep, and some of them with nice declines and inclines coming out of them. The one thing that I noticed with the vehicles, we've got a couple that are lifted more than others, and we've got different types of tyres.
Really happy with the Prado. It is fairly stock, apart from the wrap on it.
Everybody's keen for Kyle to get wet, get muddy.
Now we've got those new clear view mirrors on. The best thing about those when you're in these tight areas is that they just hook into the factory wiring and it's automatic or electric fold when you want to close them up.
Oh, it's tight through here.
Oh, Dutchy's got a new wrap on his car, so he's been very careful.
Come on, big girl.
Guess what? Another mud hole. Looks fairly straightforward. Sticks the ruts. Oh, that's nice and deep.
Let's back up and see what's going on there.
So Mike's got no pressure at all in that driver's front tyre. So as you do, you get out and give your mate a hand.
We got to a spot that Mike noticed he had a flat tyre and we found that there was air leaking from part of the bead.
I've pushed the wall of the bog hole a little bit hard. Luckily we could see where it come off the bead a bit, and we said we'd take a chance and re-inflate it. Gave it a little bit of clean with some of the Lanatech lubricant, washed out a little bit of the outside of it, over-inflated it, and we could see that it's seated and sealed again.
So Tim, we've got some fairly wet and wild tracks today. What can we do to minimise the risk of damaging our electrics?
So the best thing is one of our core products, Simon. So this one, Heavy Duty, is our oldest product in our range. It's been in the company for 20 years. And this one, really, its core purpose is to protect and provide a barrier. Once you spray it on anything, there's a barrier there that's going to protect it from the environment.
So nothing in particular, just all over the alternator?
If you want to avoid the fan belt, that's about the only place on the car you really want to avoid. Other than that, you're good to go. Being environmentally friendly, there's nothing in here that'll be harmed by it.
Good for squeaky knees. We're now back on Alison's track and looking for burnt brake track, which could be our toughest for the day.
The next track was a little bit more challenging. I know that they'd done a bit of a reconnoitre on it previously.
Simon had promised us a few ones are going to be a bit tricky. They could make or break the day.
I just hear you say you turned around and went back.
Yeah, this is where I turned around and went back, Mike. I was by myself, so I didn't want to proceed any further.
That's unusually sensible of you.
All right, guys, this is looking pretty serious down here. I can see a big, long series of bog holes and not a lot of options. Might want to get out and take a look at this one.
Oh no.
Don't make us get it out.
We could just hear the chatter over the radio.
I reckon we're definitely going to need winches.
Yeah, very stuck in here at the moment.
One of the greatest things about being out with full drive TV is they've got a camera crew which go ahead in a camera vehicle.
And they drive it like they stole it. It's always flat out. And he's gone, yeah, it's just not too bad. Oh, bang. All of a sudden he's down and there's water gushing in underneath his feet.
When we got up there, he'd well and truly stuck. He wasn't going anywhere, so the only option was to winch.
All right, we're going to need a winch down here.
Winch.
Oh, that was so good.
Typical for what happens on these trips, the camera guy goes first, and they are definitely stuck.
At one point, I think Simon was going to sleep on the bonnet of the car.
Actually, to get down to the winch cable to release it so we actually could get it out.
The boys are doing a great job. Jumped on the winch straight away, minimise the water inside. Doing it quickly, but doing it safely.
Trick here is to take steady footing. Pass it on to you. Tag, you're in.
Yeah.
Actually, this could be very funny. Want to put the camera on him?
Right, so we're wrapping the tree trunk protector around this nice big sturdy tree, making sure it's not twisted anyway. Got it connected now with the shackle, hook it up, slowly pulling forward.
Then Kyle in the arching guard, I don't know if he's going to give it a shot.
To be determined, I reckon. We'll reconvene and see what the rest of the convoy wants to do. Hesitant to flood the boss's car this early.
Being an electric winch, still operated underwater. The winches that we have are IP68 rated, which means that they're highly water resistant.
You can hear it bubbling away.
I'll go for a swim.
It's diving.
I would highly recommend not going for a swim. Very stank.
And we did get him out of the water, and he opened the door, it was just a river of water just flowed out of it.
Unfortunately on television we can't give you the odour, but the smell that here now is really beautiful, pungent, leafy, wetty, mouldy.
Now unfortunately, looking at the track further on from the bog hole.
Problem here. We can't go forward with two trees in the track.
There's one tree there your chainsaw will get through, but the one beyond it, there's no way we're getting through that today.
Nah, my chainsaw's a hedge trimmer.
There was water, there was bog holes, there was trees down, and we weren't going any further. That was as far as we could go.
At that point, we were able to spin the car around.
So we decided that the only way to get back was actually to come back the same way we went. And we basically did the whole thing in reverse. We set again, we found a tree, drove into the hole. We probably had a little bit more momentum than we had last time. And that way we got him a little bit further forward.
Get all the cars out of the way. The camera cars had to turn around and come back through. We'll see how he goes. Teamwork together to get it out as quickly as possible.
We'll wash it and we'll hang it up to dry. We won't throw it in the back of the kit like a lot of people do.
Can you do the car as well inside while you're washing up?
If you give me a drill.
Drill, I reckon a bit of TNT would be better.
Camera cars back through the second time. Convoys made the decision to turn around
and make our way back up to the camp spot.
We've stopped here at one of the campsites for a bit of brunch. We're drying out the car at the moment.
How much I was baking these all morning. nice and soft.
As wet as it was, the early spring sun was out in full force. We were all keen for a little bit of shade.
We've got the 270 awning up, also got wall extensions on at the moment. Gives us a heap more cover underneath. Also got the PVC windows on there at the moment. We've set this up just to have a bit of lunch, keep everyone out of the elements. Equally at home, if you set up, you can leave it set up for a couple of weeks.
We've got a couple of creek crossings coming up. I'm told it's the exit points of the problem, but that'll be the challenge. Gets a bit of sustenance into us and then we'll get back out there and hone the skills.
So we're going to head over to the other side of Mount Disappointment. There won't be as many bog holes as I hear it.
We're heading to Nylander Spur. There's supposed to be a bit of a scenic look down the valley. Once you go down, it leads to some treacherous tracks, so let's hope that we see the good, the bad and the ugly of it.
That, I think, is where lack of tread on the tyres won't matter so much. Will just give us more grip, if anything. It's the brakes. Oh, smash second. Oh, watch that rut. Watch that rut.
Careful.
Oh.
Watch it. Watch it.
Oh, I'm not looking. Just kidding. I'm looking.
Come on, Tim, hurry up. How are those views out to the right?
Spectacular. I've heard about this track before, but I've never done it. Stoked to be out here.
Jerry, you can see straight up that we're definitely on the dry side of the range, but you can just see how much recovery there's been since the fires.
Looking really good. You can actually see where it's been, obviously, but Mother Nature doesn't take too long to come back to normal, does it?
And looking out across to the right there, you can see the amount of devastation, the amount of dead trees that it did destroy.
Yeah, there is, but geez, you look, there's a bucket load of growth out there still.
We got down to a creek crossing in the middle of the day. It was just after our lunch, and it was an absolute mammoth climb out of it.
Camera car tried to go up first and we had issues. If he's having trouble, what sort of problems are we going to have?
The camera car unfortunately doesn't have the front locker working. It's got good mud tyres, they're down at low pressure, but this is chopped up, chewed out, off camber. I had to get high up on the wall to try and get the car over on an angle to maintain those front two tyres on the ground, turn into the rocks and give it the right amount of punch, momentum to carry it up and over. And I'll tell you what, she only just got traction. Well, that's one car through, we've got 4 more to go. Let's give it a crack.
Your big Dumbo ears.
Mike's telling me to watch my ears. We'll just bring those mirrors in. She is wet and chopped out. Take it nice and high on the left, then get onto those rocks. That's how we do it, nice and easy, but that's with the front and rear diff locks. Now the vehicle following me, the Prado, hasn't got front and rear diff locks, hasn't even got a front winch. I dare say we're going to want to winch him up nice and carefully with no panel damage, and I'm going to do something a little bit different for this one.
Got the winch cable out, everything. We're looking, going, it's going to be an interesting one. Which car will get up it, which one will have to be winched.
The Prado, he did pretty well. His line, he had to give it a little bit to get over the first rock formation, but once he got over the first rock formation, he nailed it.
Just come back a little bit. Strain up your wheel a bit. Easy, small movements on the wheel.
With a bit of spotting and I suppose just having that little bit of confidence with the people around you. Stock standard Prado pretty much. Lo and behold, straight up it.
Prado's performed pretty well. Got me up to the top. I'm always amazed at what this thing can do. Stroll down and let's get the rest of the boys up.
Usually I look at these things and suss them out very quickly, get an idea of, is this going to be a walk in the park or going to take a bit? In this case, I thought it would be a bit of a walk in the park. But watching a few of the other cars have a bit of trouble, I could see it just needed a bit more stick to get up. Luckily with the Patrol, it's a super capable vehicle.
Tim in the Patrol, he walked it. But seeing what those guys did, and of course there I am with my IFS and seeing how difficult the camera car was in the first part of it, I thought, well, how are we going to go? This is certainly the challenge for the day. We're going up a hill that's very slippery, got some rock ledges along the way. I got caught a couple of times, actually it stalled on me. We reset, went back, and then once we got the momentum, I was able to just keep pushing it. All of a sudden it's like it hit the right spot, it gripped, and bingo, up we got.
A spotter is one of the best accessories that you'll have in any vehicle. Most people go and put stuff into cars, they put suspension on, they put tyres on it. A good spotter will get you through most of the stuff if you put your faith in them.
Just kick it.
With no winching required, it was time to move on. But another issue stopped us in our tracks.
What we got here is a tyre repair kit. You can buy one of these for 25 bucks inside in any reputable four-wheel drive store. Great just to fix someone else's puncture, help someone get on the way. Easy way to check is just put a little bit of water down along the lug. A lot of people try to cut the lug and make it level with the tyre. You don't, it'll wear itself off.
You need 2 hands for this, hurry up. Stuff it in there.
Driving along, Simon found another spot that we were going to head off to. Heavily rutted, very steep and very slippery and loose.
Earlier in the day we got to see the camera car get stuck in a big bog hole, and as we hit the hill we got to see the camera car again get stuck, which provides for a bit of entertainment.
The camera car's got a busted CV. We've got this massive, rutted, rocky hill ahead of us.
Winter's come out, everything starts happening, everything starts rolling quite nicely, and luckily with a team like this, you've got a great, capable set of guys here. And
I've done myself the mischief.
it doesn't really take long for all the equipment to come out, go where it needs to go, and for the winch to start winding.
Oh!
All right, this looks a little tricky. Fairly washed out. I'm gonna cut across to this other side. Bit of articulation.
Well and truly stuck here. Yeah, I'm stuck as well. I'll get out of this and I'll come help you.
Yeah, I'm stuck as well. Stuck in my seat from all the donuts.
Somebody else's mistake gives you an opportunity to make your own decisions and go in a different direction. When it was my turn, I was always going to go high, got some traction, jumped a little bit to the left-hand side of the track, but I was able to keep momentum up. After that, it was pretty straightforward.
Chose a different line, unfortunately slipped down into the rut. These things happen and touched a panel. Said I wasn't going to damage the boss's car all day, but here we are.
We're going to tackle this in low first, diff locks on. It's a good looking track.
Incredible wheel lift. I think at one stage I was looking at the sky, watching a plane fly over because I couldn't see anything else.
Once we figured out what was the best line, what was the worst line, the rest of us follow suit and work our way up. And here we are. Fantastic night. The sun's just set.
We're about to approach a couple of bog holes here. You've got 3 different options. Usually when there's 3 options, it means one of them has been very, very deep at one stage. Camera car got stuck again.
Certainly a lot of adventure in today, a lot of challenges. Good to see that when you go out with a group of people, everybody bands together. Somebody goes down, everybody gets in and makes sure they help.
We're out in the bush, we're in Mount Disappointment where there's an absolute truckload of kangaroos. You want as much peripheral light going out the side as you can. We do a huge amount of work inside our workshop for accessorising vehicles. I was only in the workshop yesterday. We fitted up the new Narva 215 Mark IIs, and I'll tell you, they're a game changer. The beauty about the Mark II now is it's 30% more output. The spread is a bit wider on it, and you've got extra distance. Got a set on the car. I'm going to give him a good shot tonight and see how we go getting out of this forest.
Coming out, hitting some of these tracks, you don't need a $100,000 rig, but it's important to get the right gear, come out here, have some fun and enjoy it.